Hello, folks. Welcome to a new season of Sports Entertainment Weekly. The Premier League campaign kicked off last week, and we have VS from Chelsea and Charlie from Liverpool, and myself apparently from Arsenal. I don't know. I guess I just saw the PL table and went with the first team. Arsenal
Uh,
was first alphabetically. It was game week 0. But on a more serious or semi-serious note, I think I'm going to be rooting for Arsenal this season. It feels like Arsenal is a reminder of what Barcelona used to be 10 years ago. With the whole Arteta connection, the slick, sexy football that they play. What are we talking about today? Game week 1.
yeah. So we will be talking about how it was a very unsurprising start to the new Premier League season and how the top six fared and some shithousery which was really undeniable and which deserves applause across the football fraternity and which deserves to be spoken about. Yes.
I would say that the opening weekend of Premier League was a great 3 days for any punter, anybody who's into betting and who goes for the most safest, most logical bets out there. They have made bank because every single bet that anybody who watches football casually would have even placed would have come off. All the big teams have won, or in other words, the bigger teams against the smaller opponents, all of them have won, including Man City against Chelsea. And the trend started with the first match itself, and it has gone on till the very end. With the only surprising result, I would say, is when Tottenham drew with Leicester City.
Even that's arguable. Tottenham aren't
Yeah.
particularly in red hot form, but we'll come to that. Let's go sequentially. Of course, the first game that happened was Charlie's Liverpool taking on Ipswich Town, newly promoted team.
Yeah.
So I guess there were very low expectations out of uh, Ipswich,
Ipswich.
but there was also I don't want to say low expectations, but people didn't know what to expect out of Liverpool. New manager in the dugout after the legendary Klopp got out last season. We didn't know what to expect out of Arne slot, and Liverpool haven't really been active in the transfer market, much to the frustration of
Yeah.
every Liverpool fan out there. By the way, welcome to We Got Rejected by Zubi Club, Charlie, while we are at it. So we
Yeah.
didn't really know what Liverpool was going to put out there. And it's safe to say that they did a pretty good job.
Yeah. Let's talk about the background of the game, right? So as you started, so we didn't. Arne Slot is the new coach who has taken over at Liverpool FC after the legendary Jurgen Klopp bid farewell to our club a couple of months ago. Okay, so we didn't know what to expect of Arne Slot. We just saw a couple of training sessions and a couple of really good preseason games where Liverpool were really dominant against Manchester United and all the other teams that they played against. But we saw a really good mirage of what we could expect in the Premier League after what we've seen in the preseason. So coming to the first half, right? So it was a really good learning session for both Arne Slot and the Liverpool fans who could observe the game and who could observe all the passes and how the transitions from the center third to the final third and the final third to the goalkeeping box were made. So it was a really good learning session for all his fans how on what to expect from Arne Slot and how his tactics could be with almost all the best players of Liverpool present on the pitch. So the first half, to be honest, it was really sluggish. They weren't. We wasted a lot of chances against Ipswich, which we where we could have buried the game in the first half itself. But it was a classy, Klopp-esque second half where we literally came back. We looked like we came back from the dead after being sluggish in the first half, and we buried the game after 2 goals. And it was a classic Salah goals plus assist game where a classic opening day Salah game where scored a goal and assisted another goal. So it was pretty much we could win the game easily after 70 to 80 minutes, and there was no surprises from Ipswich Town either. And another statistics that I would like to point out is coming into the game and coming into the Premier League after I don't know, a couple of decades. Ipswich Town had the seventh best defensive record in the Championship last season, and there were really no surprises that Ipswich Town wouldn't concede a goal. So it was obvious that Ipswich Town would concede a goal considering the defensive record. And Kieran McKenna seemed like he didn't have any tricks out of his bag too. So yeah, it was a pretty much normal game for me, to be honest. But
Mm.
I'm really geared up for Arne Slot's regime. Yeah.
Liverpool did what
Yes,
was
thoughts on
expected
your
against a clearly inferior team in terms of
Yeah.
both talent and experience in the Premier League. So the result was really unsurprising.
thoughts
And
on
what
your ex Chelsea player scoring it again on game week one.
I mean,
Ex
Salah is
Chelsea,
no longer an ex
ex
Chelsea
Chelsea.
player.
Yeah.
Salah is the Egyptian king. He's a Liverpool legend. Let's not
Yeah. Like
demean him by calling him ex Chelsea.
yeah,
He's
like
carved out a legacy and a name for himself. And much
bro,
respect to the man. I just hope he doesn't celebrate when he scores against us. You know.
I,
leg- speaking of legacy, he just like contributed to his 300th goal in
300th
350
goal
games.
and
Like
assist in around
that
350
is
games.
that is
that's insane.
effing insane.
So
Effing insane.
in terms of
Yeah.
productivity, in terms of sheer effectiveness when it comes to numbers, Salah is up there with the very best ever in
Yeah.
PL, and he has also eclipsed a few other PL wingers who fans might argue are better than him. You know, Manchester United's Cristiano Ronaldo, Chelsea's version of Eden Hazard. So wingers who are thrown out into debates as being better than Salah, but when it comes to pure numbers, pure putting the ball in the back of the net and helping somebody do it, Salah has outdid all of them. So absolutely brilliant. Now, also the game with Ipswich, I could see that Arne Slot hasn't changed much from what Klopp has done. The foundation that Klopp has set in Liverpool, he hasn't
Yeah.
done much. It is a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1 when Zoboslai goes up the field. The same formation, but slightly different approach. Like Charlie mentioned, the first half was kind of controlled possession, and Liverpool were not really penetrative. But in the second half, they went through the gears, and Salah and Jota they put away the game to bed. Ultimately, it was just the better team winning because of quality. And so far, there are no signs of Arne Slot making a mark or stamping his authority on the Liverpool squad. He seems to, at least for now, to build upon the good work
Yeah,
and the
and
foundation
that's
that
not a
he
criticism.
already had.
That's the smart thing to
That's not
do
a
Smart thing.
when
criticism.
Yeah.
you're
That is a
Yeah.
very wise
in
thing to do.
transition.
You have a man like Klopp who has established the foundation for that club, been there that long. You don't have to uproot everything, and you don't have to reinvent
Reinvent
the
the wheel.
wheel if the wheel is turning well,
Yeah.
which it is for Liverpool. So all the best to you guys.
Okay, that brings us to the next game with the first real
Iska, I
title.
want to
Yeah,
actually cut you over that. I'm really sorry. The first match was, if I remember, it was Manchester United. You know, it was Fulham. I was
Yeah.
supporting another fellow London club, hoping that the Red Manchesters would lose. I clearly remember that.
Man,
sorry.
being a Liverpool fan, I literally forgot that team. Like,
Yeah, that says a lot about
yeah,
the state of
seriously.
the team. But
Yeah,
they did have a brilliant summer, possibly the
yeah.
best transfer window for
One of the most
of all
balanced
teams
transfer
out there.
windows, to be honest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It is certainly one of the best transfer windows Manchester United have had in
I
recent
had.
years. Maybe after Fergie era, this is probably where they haven't overspent on their targets, where they were not desperately chasing people for inflated sums, and even the wage bill they have managed to keep it in check. They were able to pull out of deals when they felt that it was not going their way. So I think the management turnaround at United is beginning to show signs of improvement,
yeah,
but the same cannot be said on the pitch. So the football it's not really improved by a lot. Sirkse got away with the goal, which came after a lot of perseverance by United. There were flashes of brilliance here and there, but overall, if you look at the game, it does not really fill fans with a lot of hope apart from the new signing Sirkse getting away with the goal, because they had like 10, 11 shots conceded. Manchester United, they were not really able to create from out wide. Diallo, who started ahead of the other wingers, who was brilliant towards the last season, he did not have a great game. Rashford again is mostly hit and miss. So they are, and Bruno Fernandes. I will not blame Bruno for having one off game where he missed a couple sitters, because he's their go-to man. He's a key player. He will deliver more often than not. But Bruno had a pretty bad game as well. So overall, I would not say that United have really upped their game under Erik Ten Hag in the new
I have
season.
a feeling Klasa would disagree with this because he was the only one amongst us to go watch it in person
in
at
person.
Old
Yeah,
Trafford. And like you said, they missed a lot of sitters. I remember the
yeah.
Garnacho one that was going viral.
Yeah.
Forgot who squared it. up to him. Probably
But then
Rashford.
again, my point is when you say that they missed a lot of sitters, it gives the impression that United created a lot of chances and failed at converting them, which was not the case. The Garnacho sitter was also a giveaway. I
Hmm.
think it was Calvin Bassey who miskicked wildly, and then it fell to United. So United, when we say that they were missing sitters, we have to clarify that they were unable to pounce upon the Fulham errors. They were not very creative themselves. They were not
Yeah,
creating chances out of
they
the blue
weren't
as a team should.
agreed. Yeah, we are sorry we overlooked Manchester United because,
Yeah.
as I was saying, Arsenal versus Fulham, sorry,
Just
Wolves, it was the first match for the real title contenders.
ah, okay.
No arguments there.
Come on.
If you are
My
excited for the,
argument, see, the transfer window that Arsenal have had. First of all, 2 seasons ago they finished 5 points behind Man City. Last year they were leading Man City till the very end and finished 2 points below them. And now the club has to back Arteta. I mean, he has delivered. I mean, he hasn't delivered trophies, but the team is performing well, and they have backed Arteta. So the transfers that they have done, it fits really well. We already discussed this. Mikel Merino,
Yeah.
I think, is going to be a very valuable addition to that squad. And Arteta now has a formation figure out where he's going to play, four tall players who are probably centre backs across the back line. And that system is churning. They have Partey and Jorginho who can be swapped for one another to bring in different playing styles. Declan Rice keeps his praise. Odegaard, he has been performing really really well over the past year, and he has continued doing that this year. But it's just Bukayo Saka. That guy is too good, and he's the
Yeah.
match winner. He's the reason why Arsenal are being able to go toe to toe with City. He was the one who assisted Havertz. He scored the second goal
yeah.
himself, and
Any thoughts on the
he
ex
has that
Chelsea
skill,
members?
that ability to sell a defender and take on the shot without the defender blocking it. Bukayo Saka has that in abundance because it's not really he keeps the defenders on his toes. His leg movements, he doesn't do fancy step overs, but it's very tricky. It's very hard to read. And see,
That guy
Arsenal
is
have a player
electric.
like Harvard who has that problem. So Harvard finishes, Harvard scores goals, but if you look at it, most of the goals that Harvard scored, either they are headers or they are ahead of the defense. Like he's already ahead of the last defender when he's finishing the goal. Even the goal he scored for Chelsea against Man City in the final was one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Havertz has a severe disability when he's trying to sell a defender to get some space to take the shot. He's unable to create space for himself and finish. He cannot really finish when there is a defender or defenders in front of him. And Saka does not have this problem. Absolutely brilliant player, top class,
Yeah.
top quality.
And
I hope
I
he
want to
doesn't keep
add
this up
this.
for the season. And I'm not
I want to add
optimistic
this
of it.
about Kai Havertz. We have spoken about this in the past extensively. Players like Havertz, Ferran Torres, Joao Felix, second strikers or false nine.
Yeah.
These are people who aren't particularly great at any one thing. They are like highly systemized players. They work well if they are in the right system. And Havertz didn't have that at Chelsea. And Arteta has to be given the credit for managing to utilize and bring out the best out of somebody like Kai Havertz, where he's like a top three name
I
in
would
the
say that
name
it's
sheet.
still too early to say that because towards the
Not
second
just
half,
about this season.
towards the latter half of last season, Havertz's inability to finish chances did really cost Arsenal. Maybe even a few points that might have made the title race slightly closer. So, one game he does well, and I would definitely agree when you say that
Or
Arteta has
maybe,
figured out a better
yeah.
system.
So, in compared with other players who have this role in the team, Havertz is the standout for me. I really, off the top of my head, I can't think of other players who are really good
See,
at
the strikers that they
this.
have right now are Gabriel Jesus and Havertz. And Havertz is
Havertz.
taller. He's much better in the air. He has a very velvety touch, although he's not exactly the greatest finisher. So
He's also
choosing
a good
Havertz
dribbler.
over Jesus is probably not a bad idea. But then, I mean, imagine if Arsenal were to buy Victor Osimhen, do you think Havertz would be starting? Like, no way in hell. So it's also
Yeah.
the lack of better options for Arteta,
Have
and that is
have
where City makes a difference. City have Haaland, and
yeah.
no insult to Havertz, but Arteta has to do with Havertz. So Arsenal team, if they go for a better striker, I don't see him starting.
Are they targeting? Are they targeting anyone for the front
No,
three?
I don't think it was seriously linked, but there were rumors. There were
there
some
were rumors.
smoke, but
Leo.
so no
No,
fire.
just Liao Barca is linked with Rafael, right? Yeah, dude. Deco is there. Don't worry, Deco.
You know this age-old interview question. Sell me this pen.
Sell me this pen. Yeah,
If Barca were the interviewer, I'm not cracking that interview. That's the state of our financial affairs, and you want us to
exactly. Sign
make a
Rafael
19
Liao.
million purchase,
Yeah.
and it has nothing to do with
You
my
guys,
ability to sell.
you guys are starting burger lines just to finance your club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, I
if we
don't know if
don't
this
have
is professional to bring this up here, but I also heard that the
no,
fans, they were Barcelona fans were donating to Barcelona via
Yeah.
TikTok so that
TikTok. Yeah, I
they
heard
can
this.
fund the transfer for
BS.
Nico Williams, and
Man,
Nico
I
rejected
told
Barca
that.
and ended up staying.
I told that in confidence. I'm
Yeah,
never
but
getting back
focus
that
on PL, guys. Focus on PL.
298. Anyway, I think that's about it for the Arsenal Wolves game. That brings us to what was easily the highlight fixture, Chelsea versus City. Chelsea played it at home.
Yes, it was a big
You
match.
Unfortunately,
can
yes.
you can
Exactly.
never tell because there is just like way too many players moving around
Come
here
on.
and there.
It's a school, not a team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a home
Like
game.
so see, usually you will
Yeah.
be able to make out the difference between home and away, but because there are just so many players on the Chelsea bench, on the pitch and everything, I can't really tell if it's the Stamford Bridge.
Kiska,
Oh,
you need to let me take this. I have two ways of describing how the match went. I'll do both actually. First, I'll be the decent guy doing my job, being professional. So for the first match under a new coach under Enzo Maresca, I think the team did particularly well against an opponent of the class of Manchester City. But you have to keep in mind that City were missing some key players. They have not moved through their gears, and this is City at a second or a third gear at best, and this is Chelsea's new players under the new coach trying to impress him. So the match was fairly balanced. We lost the match 2-0, but I would argue that both the goals that City scored were highly preventable. The first goal came from a lapse of defensive error, probably neither Colville or the other centre back. Who was it? I mean, we have so many players that I've started for Fofana. It was Wesley Fofana.
Fofana.
Yeah, so neither of them managed to cut out the crows, and then Cucurella could have maybe if he had done better, but then I wouldn't count on him outmuscling Haaland every single time.
Yeah.
I think it was a preventable goal. The second goal was even worse, I would say, because it was Mateo Kovacic, who is not known to be a very. Mateo Kovacic has always had the ability to carry the ball through the midfield, but he doesn't carry it a long distance because he doesn't simply have the pace. He can dribble, he has great close control, but he doesn't have the pace. And Mateo Kovacic, he ran through our 220-30 million midfield like they did not exist, which was very concerning. I think Caicedo sold himself too easily. I didn't think Caicedo gave his 100% into that duel when Mateo Kovacic beat him. And then the less I say about Enzo, the better, because Enzo without off the ball is not even as fast as Kovacic on the ball, which is frankly very concerning. Now, moving on from that, I saw what I believe are a lot of positives. First and foremost, and I've been backing this player since the last season.
Lavia.
After they moved for him, Romeo Lavia, I think he did brilliantly for his first match, and I'm not exaggerating it because he was the deepest midfielder of the three. He was tasked with the duty of playing that number six anchor role.
That's it.
He managed to show all sides of a central defensive midfielder. I mean, not to the maximum level, please don't get me wrong, but all the things that you would want a central midfielder to do, he showed that he can do most of it. He was able to receive the ball from the defense on the half turn, evade the first press, and progress it forward. There were two excellent tracking runs that he made, and this is very important because when you are a holding midfielder, you have to have the vision to cover the runners from midfield. The defense will do their job of keeping the attackers at bay, but if you are to cover the midfielders, then you are blocking shots from mid range, and he was able to do that exceptionally well. I think he did not even misplace a pass in the first half, and it was a wonderful, wonderful performance from Romeo Lavia. This is just the start. So I think that is going to be the foundation going forward. Lavia as the deep anchor, Caicedo more of a box to box role. And now this brings me to my second part. Thank you guys
Funny
for
how the
listening.
Lavia transfer worked out though. Before you go on to your unprofessional ranting, Charlie.
No, it's not a ranting. No, we
No,
have to remember.
no, no. We got a better player in Gravenberg. Okay, Ryan Gravenberg was miles better than any Liverpool fan thought of him before the season started. Like I think he is the number 6 that Liverpool always wanted. That we were like looking someone for outside, like for Zubimendi. Like Zubi bye bye. That's it. That's my
I
argument.
would still argue that Lavia has a higher ceiling, but we'll wait that out and see. Now,
Okay.
for the second part, you have to remember that like 2 to 3 weeks ago, this video of Enzo Fernandez, it went viral where he was sitting in the Argentina team bus. He was recording a video of him saying, chanting an extremely racist, ultra right-wing, bordering on Nazism chant about the black players in the French squad. It even went on to, everything that can be termed as offensive. It had all of it. It was unprofessional. It was unethical. It had no right to be portrayed to that big an audience. It was highly irresponsible of the player, and now the player and his entourage can make the excuse that he was unaware of the racist implications of the chanting, and which is probably right. I might actually agree with it. He probably did not know how specifically the rant was racist, and I'm not counting upon the player's moral compass here. He might have one, he might not, I don't know, but I'm very sure that if he knew that it was a actual like proper racist chant, he might not have posted it on his own Instagram even if he agreed with it. But that does not excuse the behavior, that does not excuse the problems that can cause in the dressing room, especially Chelsea, which are a team with that many black players in the squad, that many black players of France, from France, players of black origin in the squad. We do not want him as the captain. As a fan, as a supporter of the football club, I thoroughly disagree Enzo Fernandez getting to wear that captain's armband and going on to the pitch leading all these players whom he directly or indirectly has abused. We have Malo Gusto, who is a African, who's born to African lineage but who's a French player. We have Wesley Fofana, we have Uwo Chukwu. We have a lot of these players, and somebody who has set his moral so low, somebody who has been so irresponsible, just gets to waltz in into this team, take on the captain's armband,
And
and be the worst midfielder of the three
yes,
midfielders in that
exactly. It
game.
makes no sense on any
Makes
level.
no
It's
sense.
not like
First of
he's
all,
your best
even
player.
before the racist chant came out, I did have an issue with Enzo Fernandez in the last season in the sense that he seems to be playing it. He's very good. I will not deny that. His passing range, his long ball ability, his skills on the ball are very good, and it's sometimes a pleasure to see him play. But that does not mean that you are going to put your interests ahead of the team. He seems to constantly play at a pace which suits himself. He decides to fasten things up when it needs to be fastened up without giving a regard to whether his teammates are ready or not. I see no reason. He's not even a key midfielder. Conor Gallagher, who is currently training with the Chelsea under 21 squad, and I'm clarifying, I'm not saying in terms of talent, is or was a better midfielder in terms of efficiency and effect for Chelsea the last year. Moises Caicedo was a better midfielder, and we still have Enzo Fernandez, who still has not addressed publicly, apart from the Instagram post about this racist chant, vice captaining and captaining this team into the 11. It's highly disappointing as a Chelsea fan, as anybody. We have a squad, and the players clearly express that they have a problem. The West, I heard this somebody say somewhere that Wesley Fofana, after his ACL, the only thing he can defend is black players from racism. Probably true, but he did that well. He called Enzo Fernandez out, and I give him credit for that. And we have this person leading the squad into a Premier League opener. Frankly, disgusting. Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
Yeah.
have any arguments, but I
Yeah.
would ask this before we move on. Uh, who should be the Chelsea captain? The fact that, as Sunny,
I
you
don't know,
made
man. Anybody but Enzo Fernandez. We don't have leaders in the squad. We don't have seniority. We don't have
that's a
anybody in the
huge
squad
problem when you spend what
captaincy potential. It is a
500
huge problem in
million
itself, but
plus.
the solution is not giving the armband to Enzo Fernandez. I mean, I don't know. Give it to Mikhailo Mudryk. I don't care. Better than
Who
Enzo
is your
Fernandez.
keeper?
Sanchez.
Sanchez,
Yeah, give.
not Sanchez. We don't
Yeah.
have leaders in the squad. It's common knowledge, but it should still not be Enzo Fernandez leading the team.
Makes sense. All right. That moves us on to the last portion of today's stream, which is Leicester versus Spurs. Normally we would have overlooked a fixture like this because
Yeah.
Leicester is a newly promoted team. Despite their very rich and beautiful history in the past. And Tottenham, frankly, who gives a damn? No offense to
That was really good. That
some
was
of
really good.
our
Yeah.
Tottenham friends, but we have to bring it up for a couple of reasons. One is the fact that Leicester walked away with a point. Tottenham is a Europa League level team, while Leicester is supposed to be battling for relegation. That is the most surprising result of the fixtures that we had. And second is one man only, the 37-year-old Jamie Vardy. Um, Charlie, you want to go
Yeah.
first?
Yeah. So yes, so Jamie Vardy, like he's the single most reason that I wanted to discuss this picture on this podcast. So the guy who literally lives and diets on Red Bulls before the match and during halftime literally came on 10 minutes after halftime and then scored the equalizer, which Leicester ran away with a point from. And then after getting subbed on, he just showed the Tottenham fans that he has one Premier League trophy and they have zero Premier League trophies, and called like and said the,
Shithousery at its
and
finest.
said the F word to Christian Romero, and which was shithousery at the best. And you should see the scenes. It was absolute scenes at the King Power Stadium when Jamie Vardy hit that tap in
I can
header. So
imagine
it
that.
was absolute mayhem back then. Like I was seeing the highlights and I was beating my chest myself like Jamie when Jamie Vardy hit the goal. Like you don't love the player that much. You don't also hate the player that much.
I
But
mean,
you love when the scenes are like that.
yeah,
So
to be fair, he did warn people years ago.
yeah,
That should get
exactly.
banged.
Exactly. For all
Tottenham
this,
got what they deserve.
yeah,
And Cuti Romero, I love him for all the things that he has done for Argentina. But let's face it, he's one of those players like a Luis Suarez or a Bruno Fernandes. You love it if they play for your team, but anybody else, like
Yep.
if you are the opposition, you know he's a prick. He
You also
probably
have to, I
had
mean,
it
consider
coming.
the player's longevity. Jamie Vardy, he started professional football very late. He was not
yeah,
academy groomed. He was playing in the English second tier, won it, came up with Leicester to PL, won the PL, won the FA Cup, got relegated with Leicester, played in Championship, got the promotion, came back to PL, scored. He
Insane,
also
man.
holds the record for the longest goal scoring streak in English football. He started his proper footballing journey after he turned 27, and right now he has 103 goals in English top flight, and he is scoring at the ripe old age of 34. You can say that he
37,
dies
34,
on
37.
37.
37, sorry. You
7,
can
Yeah,
say
yeah.
that his diet is scrambled eggs and Red Bull, but the sheer athleticism and longevity that Jamie
yeah,
Vardy has shown
Can,
is absolutely
can
remarkable,
I say
and
one
he's
thing?
one of a kind legend. He had an offer to join Arsenal after that Leicester's
yeah.
title winning season. He chose to stay with Leicester. He went down with Leicester. He came back up with them, and now he is here. So the legend that Jamie Vardy is, I don't think our generation is going to
He's
forget it.
he's the poor
I'm
man's
gonna
Harry
say
Kane. He's the poor man's Harry Kane for me.
I'm gonna say something even more controversial.
What do you mean?
Vardy
You
is,
did you just say Jamie Vardy is poor man's Harry Kane?
Yeah,
and he did have
No
points.
man, he's Leicester's Marco Van Basten. I mean, he has more Premier League titles than
no,
Harry Kane,
like
better records than Harry Kane.
Now, I see
no,
what
I
both
get
of you
that.
are coming from. I'm gonna
Yeah,
solve this by saying something even more controversial. My hot take to close the episode. Jamie Vardy is who people think or who people want Zlatan to be.
yeah. This is
We know
one.
the longevity,
Yeah,
the
okay, yeah,
aura, the age,
definitely. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
This the
the
sheer
monster
the sheer
mentality.
the sheer pitch presence that he carries for a single team, or the port. Yeah, totally, man, totally.
I mean, footballing wise, very different type of strikers. But what Slatan tries to achieve by saying the things that he says and doing the things that he does, Vardy just gets it by being himself. He's
Himself.
just
Yeah, I
Wow,
think.
did you just
So,
paraphrase Zlatan himself?
that's helpful.
What that guy can do with the football, I can do with an orange.
yeah.
No, I think
All
I
right.
think I think Jamie Vardy and Wayne Rooney are similar strikers in the in
Kind of,
the
yes, kind of.
in
Not the
Yeah,
in the
playing style,
qual.
but the
Yeah, kind
attitude.
of. Yeah,
I
attitude
came
exactly.
purely from what people make them out to be. Like
Yeah,
when all things are said and done, Vardy would have had more impact to football than Zlatan.
It
Exactly.
doesn't matter, man. Vardy, the impact that he has, that is the fairy tale. That is, I mean, I wouldn't change any page in Jamie Vardy's autobiography. Forget a page. I
Yeah,
wouldn't change a single word in the autobiography that Vardy has written for himself so far. It's a fairy tale. I mean, Jamie Vardy's autobiography is something that you can read to children in kindergarten and expect them to go home smiling afterwards. It's that kind of stuff
absolutely.
that has to stay like it is.
All right. On that lovely, wholesome note, we end the first game week review for Sports Entertainment Weekly. I will bring back the same folks and hopefully more folks for the next edition. And if you're watching it for the first time, don't forget to subscribe, because we are going to be doing these cover ups for Premier League, Champions League, and maybe throw in a Barcelona episode every now and then just to please the, I don't know, founding member.
Oh man, we have to,
Take
man. We
care.
have to.
Yeah. All right. See you in another edition of See You Football. Bye, gentlemen.
Bye, bye, guys.